this is recording.
Okay, I've got Friday people here with me now.
Yep.
So we have a lot of workbook stuff today. Class may, we may not go the full time because I don't seem to have a lot of people jumping to the board, giving us stuff, but we'll do. But what I advise you to do, especially the stuff that's up here on the front board, these are the chord spellings, and just check very carefully what you have done with the chord spellings so that we can make sure that we have good response to you, and you can make adjustments in your own work as you need to. Oh.
Well, I think it's
Well,
good. I haven't been able to.
They have an issue there.
That's why I'm surprised.
Hey folks out there, I have no more people that will write on the board this morning.
My head is just,
Oh, okay. Go back.
Which one do you want?
Well, we could have another 1A, we could have another 2A and another 2B.
Yeah, pick one of the twos.
One of the twos?
One of the twos.
Please.
it's okay for me to be excused from doing this today, isn't it?
Well,
Let
some
your
people
conscience be
participate,
your
some people
guide.
don't, so.
My head is just like, I'm just really tired. I know it's a cold and things, but here I
Okay. And there's a couple other people that.
Well, this weekend you get an hour back. A gift of an hour this weekend.
I would love for you to.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for
It
me.
usually doesn't work. I'm just old enough, it doesn't work.
Oh, come on, Shelley.
It's true, it's true. It is worse in the spring for me that it just doesn't count anymore. Spring, I feel like I get hit by a bus. On this one? Spring or?
Levi, are you gonna write on the board for us? You're declining.
Dave, do you wanna write on the board?
It is this Saturday night.
Yeah.
It's this week.
Yeah.
I wanna come. Does any of you guys wanna write on the board over here? I already did. Oh, you did? Yeah.
Nice.
Yep, she did.
What about Devin?
Devin did.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we'll wait another minute so that we don't, leave anyone behind on this. So just, what is it they used to say on Saturday Night Live? Talk amongst yourselves.
Yep.
I had trouble with 2B. That's why you should. No. I just don't feel like I can deal with any more humiliation for today, for this last week.
It's not humiliation.
Not this, no, I'm just a little spent right now, so.
Okay.
So, I feel like the 2B came. So I use this as an excuse if I do make things easier, be like, well, there's just a couple questions that I have about the 2A, but the 2B just seemed like, it was like, boom, all of a sudden I could just write it, and it was like, no problem. 2A is just like major struggle.
Yeah, actually.
So in 1-2A, that's nice.
What's
So
that?
you'll get one example of what 2A should be like.
Or how it should not be
Or
like.
how it should not be like. By the time you fix it, it will be how it should be like, so.
Oh, that's kind of sexy.
Oh, no, actually, I think the plastics is more.
Oh, and we're the same. I love this. That's sexy.
Oh. Who's the guy that was back there?
Taylor?
Taylor? Yeah, Lewis and Taylor.
Oh my god, wait, it was an election year?
I think that's it, but this is the smallest class, and then the Friday's the
Right.
biggest class.
Oh, yeah, it is. What's up, Bush? Yeah. Bush? What's up, Bush, man? What are you gonna do? The Nintendo DS was released in North America. In 2004, y'all. It's kind of insane. Do you feel old yet? Yes.
Yay, at work.
I'm so old.
Oh, by the way, everybody, you're just sitting there, make sure that you, put in where your seating is today.
Yeah.
Good point.
We still have to be aware of that.
Ooh, there's also an Australian
Yeah, I got another email that, I guess, it doesn't seem too bad in this room, but I guess in some rooms, people are really moving the seats around.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're good here.
Here, yeah, I didn't have to move the seats when I entered, I only had to move the piano. Apparently, the piano's not supposed to be moved, but it's always moved in this room.
This is where the piano should be.
I think the piano should be in the middle, but I'm not sure, so.
Who do I talk?
Dr. Hanson always has it in the middle. Not Dr. Hanson, Dr. Alexander at ear training.
Okay, yeah, cause I've also seen it on the far corner, next to the
Oh.
door.
Really?
And I've seen it over there next to the stand where Kate is, so, I have no idea where it's supposed to be.
Well, I think when people, especially when people use this room for rehearsal, they feel free to. Well, who's in charge of that? Who do I talk to make sure that I get it here?
I think Dr. Klein would be the one to make sure that that's where the official spot where it's supposed to be. How to make it stay there is another problem.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure for that one. But there is no tape signifying where the piano should be, so I think that's another confusion.
Let's get a roll of tape.
Okay.
And a marker. We'll signify.
Okay.
Or we can put a big sign on either end of it, say, do not move upon pain of death.
Or put it back, at least put it back.
Or put it back in its rightful place, or Benedette.
Piano ghost is moving it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, this particular truck underneath the piano is not, it's a difficult one. It just doesn't move easily.
Yeah, this one doesn't move very well.
I think it was a new one when we got it, and I don't know if we found some WD-40 or something that would make those wheels. Of course, I'm always skeptical of that because then it's gonna stain the carpet.
Yep,
It'll drip and
exactly.
stain the carpet.
Probably why they haven't done it yet.
Okay, sir, how you coming? One more measure?
Good, yes, one more measure and I'm done.
All right.
I came in late, so it's my fault.
We're here, but hurry, so that we can get going.
Oh yeah, just so that you guys know, did anybody experience a cut happening in the recording, the last recording I did over Zoom? It should have happened on, minute 28 or a minute and a half. A cut, like it blacked out. Anybody? I had it from, one student who said that the feed cut out and she couldn't access the rest of the recording. I just listened to it before the class and it cut out for a minute and a half and then it went back to its normal recording. Anybody experience that?
I just fast forward, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so fast forwarding. Nobody else? Okay, good to know. Cause I'm recording on my iPad now because I just like the recording better on the iPad, so I'm gonna Zoom and record. So, heads up.
And aren't we lucky that she has the equipment?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a big problem, that we don't have the infrastructure that we need in all. Do you have a key signature for that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. And for the sake of time, I just left.
It's all right, you don't have to color them in, we can figure it out. But give us the key signature. Thank you. All right, folks, good morning, and let's start with the chord spelling. We've got several things that are asked for. We've got, of course, A is given to us, a 5, 4, 2 of 5, and so that's gonna be an A7 chord in its last inversion, that's what that is. But the next one now, in the key of F, and so this is B, asking for a 2 diminished 6. So think about that. In F, root of that chord is? It is G, and this must be asking for a borrowed chord from the minor mode, so that it must be diminished. And so we've got G is the root, and spelled with B flat in the key signature, B flat, and G. So what is there is correctly spelled, since we didn't put the key signature in that far. That's fine, giving us the B flat. Is that D natural or D flat? I'm sorry, the shield makes my vision wavy, and it's
Looks like D flat.
flat. It should be a D flat.
I see it on C.
On B.
Oh, on B, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's between fighting bifocals and the visual effect of this shield. Sometimes it's hard for me to see. Okay, so C, we are asked, in the key of D major, we are asked for flat 6. So that again is a borrowing from the parallel minor. And what chord should we have? Is that correct on the board?
Should that be an F natural?
Well, I think it is an F natural because there's no key signature.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it will be a B flat major triad is flat 6. Okay, and moving right along to D, we are asked for,
So is that supposed to be an F natural or an F sharp?
it's an F natural. It is an F natural. It's all by itself in a bar. So it's B flat, D, F.
Cindy, the directions said to put the key signatures in, and so I did, and so I put an F natural on my paper.
Yeah,
Okay. And so
but
it's
we've
one,
got
but up
a
there
few
it's-
that didn't put key signatures.
Yeah, I know.
But literally, what's there those are the correct notes. Okay, D, we're asked in F minor, we're asked for a 7 diminished 4/3 of 5. So think in F minor, 5 is what in F minor? C, right? So then we've got to then start thinking in C for a moment and get to a 7 diminished chord, which would be the leading tone, diminished 7th chord, and then we need it spelled in second inversion, right? So we need F to be on the bottom of it, and then A flat, but we've got the next 2 notes are a little problematic, I think. Since we have no key signature here, we should be spelling literally F, A flat, B natural, and D natural. Who wrote those? Would you come and fix those, please, just so that we have what is correct on the board? So in D, it should be F, A flat, B natural, and D natural. And so if you've got the key signature, you'll have naturals in front of those. Okay. E, we are asked for a minor 4 in B flat. So that will be a triad built on the 4th scale degree, E flat. And this is correct. Yes? It will be an E flat minor triad. Okay, and F, sorry. Look is in the key of E major, we're asked for a 2 half diminished 6/5. So in E major, the root of this chord will be F sharp. All right, so if we build a half diminished 7th chord, we build a diminished triad, then a 7. So, and then it wants 6/5, so we're gonna we'll invert that once, and that leaves us with A, C natural, E, and F sharp. So we've got to get rid of that sharp in front of the C. That leaves us with a minor 7th chord. There we go. All right, now, moving right along. Y'all with me? Double checking everything. So now we're in G, on exercise G, and we're asked for a flat 6 in A. Correct? Yes? I think that is correct. We're in treble clef now. So, very good. H, we are asked for a, in the key of D minor, we're asked for a 7 diminished 6 over 5. So, D minor, 5 is what? A. So you go up the A major scale to the 7th scale degree, and so that's going to be a diminished triad built on G sharp, on the leading tone of A. And do we have what we need? Yes. First inversion, B, natural, D, and G sharp. Everybody with us? Levi, you with us?
I was reviewing the textbook real quick.
Okay, so anybody have an argument with that? This is good. Now we have I. We're back in G major, and we're asked for a 2 half diminished 6/5. So this is a half diminished 7th chord built on what scale degree? 2 on A. So we build a diminished triad, and then the 7th. So this should be C, E flat, G, A. We're all good there. J, key of F minor. We're asked for a 5, 6, 5 of 5. So 5 in F minor is C. Is it helpful as I'm making you think through the process? Yes, I hope. Okay, so C, we've got to have a 5 of C. So that'll be a G7 chord and in first inversion, which should be B natural. Whose is this? Can we get a D natural in that chord? We need a D natural there. Because what you have spelled is this. We need a D natural in that one. Excellent. Okay, I think that's all good now. And now, K. We're asked for, in the key of B flat, for a 7 half diminished 4/3. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Of 2. So in B flat, 2 is what? C. So we go up C to the 7th degree of the C scale, which is a B natural. And so building a half diminished chord, 7th chord, there we go. We build a diminished triad, B, D, F, and then A natural, let's see, and put that in the right inversion. That'll be F, A, B natural, and D. That's spelled correctly here on the board. And finally, in that line, F, we want a minor 4. Correct? It's a B flat minor chord. All right, good deal. Now, just moving right along, the fun never stops here. So let's be exercise M. We're asked in the key of D major, we're asked for a 7 diminished 4/2 of 2. So let's get to D major, and what will be the second scale degree? E. So let's go up E major. Well, we would go up E minor, either way. So this has got to be, D sharp is the leading tone to E, so it's got to be a diminished 7th chord built on D sharp. That would be D sharp, F sharp, A, and C natural. And do we have what we need here? If we're going to invert it to the final inversion, that would be C natural, D sharp, F, and A. Oh, we're back in the bass clef here. All right, excellent. Now, exercise N, key of C sharp minor. We're asked for a 5/6/5 of 6. So, let's see, what is 6 in C sharp? A. So we go up the A. What is 5 of A? E. So we're looking for an E7 chord in first inversion, which would be G sharp, B, D natural, and E. Okay, now O, we're looking for a 7 half diminished 7 of 5. So in E flat, 5 is B flat, and so the 7th scale degree of B flat would be A. So to build a half diminished 7th chord, we build a diminished triad on A, and then a 7th, right? Diminished triad plus the 7th. Or minor 7th, sorry, that's what I meant to say. And that is in root position, so that looks good to me. Now, moving right along to exercise P, we're asked for a 5/6 of 2 in D flat. All right, that's interesting. 2 in D flat is all right, and so let's see. Second scale degree is in E flat. Second scale degree is
Are we looking at?
No, we're in D flat.
Are we looking at?
oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. In D flat, the second scale degree is E flat. So 5 of E flat would be what? Be a B flat triad. And so we're looking for a B flat triad in first inversion. D, F, B flat. Okay, that's fine. What's there? Now, moving right along. Q. We want B major, key of B major, and we're just looking to spell a 2 diminished 6. So this is going to be borrowed from the minor mode, yes. To get a diminished on 2, normally 2 is a minor, but to get a diminished, so we take the second scale degree there is C sharp, build a diminished triad on it, and then invert it once. We have E, G natural, and C sharp. So that is correct, what's on the board. And finally in that line, we have A flat major, asked for a 7 diminished 7. So that's got to be built on what note? G. So we just build a fully diminished 7th chord on G. G, B flat, E flat, F flat. coming down the home stretch here. Let's go to, this will be exercise M. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Did anybody do S?
Not on the board now.
I can write mine up there and move on to some other one. I can do mine while we're looking.
Well, why don't you, wait a minute, cause I want you in on this. Why don't we just talk through them, since we didn't end up with it on the board? So the first one is, in the key of B flat, we want a minor 1/6. So we simply have to turn the 1 chord into a B flat minor chord. So this would be D flat, F, and B flat. Are we good with everyone? Okay, the next one, we want a 2 half diminished 4/3 in the key of E. So we're gonna also again have to borrow from the parallel minor here, because 2 is F sharp. So when we build half diminished 7th chords, we build a diminished triad to begin with, then a minor 7th. So what we're gonna have here to get it in 4/3, we're gonna have to have C natural on the bottom, E, F sharp, and A. Everybody double checking your work against that? Okay. And for you, we've been asked for a minor 4/6 in A major. What is 4 in A major? D, so we've got to just have a D minor triad in first inversion. So that would be F natural, A, and D. So far, so good. All right. Now, exercise B, we're in the key of D flat, and we are asked for a 7 diminished 6/5. So in D flat, 7 has to be built on what note? C. So let's build a diminished 7th chord on C minor. On C. C, E flat, G flat, and A. Is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. Okay. 7, so that, yes, you're correct, B double flat. And to invert that to 6/5, that means we have to start with E flat, G, B double flat, and C. Everybody on board with that? Yes?
G flat.
It should be E flat, G flat, B double flat, and C. Did I say something different? Thank you for keeping me honest there. And now 2 more super fun things to do. Let's say G minor, and we've got to have something based on 4. 4 in G minor is a C. So then we got to find the 5, 6, 5 of C, which if we just tootle on up the scale to the 5th of that scale, we're going to get a G. So we got to build a G7 chord. That would be 5, 6, 5 of 4. And now let's invert it once. B natural, D, F, and G. Okay. And last but certainly not least, X. Exercise X. X for exercise. E minor, we're going to build a 7 diminished 6 of 6. So 6 in E minor is diatonic, so that's a C major triad, right? If we were in E major, flat 6 would be the same thing, C major. But to build a 7 diminished in first inversion in C major, we got to build a triad first on B, a diminished triad on B, put it in first inversion, and we get D, F natural, and B. everybody make that journey with us, double checking your own work. Very good. All right. Yes, sir.
A little off topic, but looking back at you, the minor 4/6 in A,
Mhm.
if you were to take the D natural and sharp it, would that be an example of augmented 6 chord?
No.
I have a question too.
Yes.
And I don't know if there's an answer, but what is the difference in function of having something fully diminished versus half diminished? Because I know like sometimes you have a half diminished 2 chord or like half diminished.
It's the function. The function is not fundamentally different.
Okay.
It's still it's an action. Being a 7 chord, it's an action chord that's going to move us back to tonic. The fully diminished moves us a little more directly and unwaveringly back, but the half diminished 7th chord is just a little different sound. For example, if we're in C major, and I go, well, I shouldn't put the 5 under it. That skews things. So we have, that's a fully diminished 7 chord moving to tonic. Now here's a half diminished 7 chord. See, it will still move to tonic nicely, but it's not as, that A flat kind of compels us to come down. It's a little gentler movement. The chromaticism of the diminished 7th just moves us in there. Shelley, you look perplexed.
No, I follow what you're saying, but I'm just thinking, so it really is at the discretion of the composer to choose which kind of tone color is being used. There is no rule for use of the half diminished versus a fully diminished, or how either one of those have to be resolved.
Not a rule that I've ever read
Okay.
or found.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, I'm working on the request from, I can't remember if it was from this group or from the Friday group, but to show you some other theory books that I recommend. And I managed to get a copy of the one that I had as a sophomore at the University of Utah, which is the Walter Piston Harmony. I told you this was a very unique textbook because there are no minor or lowercase Roman numerals used. Everything is capital with Piston. And I also just happened to look at, reviewing how they explain the augmented 6 chords in this textbook. And Piston starts by explaining augmented 6 chords as altered secondary dominants. We can revisit that next week when our brains are directly on augmented 6 chords. We can revisit, and I may even just put that on the board to show you how that was explained. It's all, I mention that just to say there are just so many different ways of going at this stuff. So that was a unique one. I had a pretty unique sophomore year. I may have already shared this, but I was on the quarter system, so it was divided into 3 segments. And, first quarter I had Piston, which is unique in and of itself. Next quarter I had my theory textbook as we delved into chromatic harmony big time. Have I shared this? Do you remember what my textbook was? The Brahms piano, the Henley edition of the Brahms piano pieces. That was the textbook. And then finally, I almost don't even remember. I know we had some kind of anthology in the 3rd quarter to be doing, moving through post-tonal stuff. But interesting professor. I don't know why it is, but almost every professor I ever had, I think there's one professor that is still living. Everyone else is gone. And that includes theory, history, piano, the whole 9 yards. They're all gone. I must have killed them off somehow with my charming presence in their courses. So it's a little bit of a lonely feeling to feel a little bit abandoned. So I'll try to stick around for a few years so that you can come back when you're all geniuses in your master's or doctorate degrees. You can come back and we'll have lunch. I'll just try to stay around. I've got a 3-year-old granddaughter that I don't want to abandon prematurely. So anyway, interesting experience. It was definitely an experiential approach to the subject matter. And in a way, I'm oddly duplicating that here by centering on the anthology, doing appropriate workbook exercises, and then explaining things in the textbook as needed. Are you reading ahead to Augmented 6 and Neapolitans yet? That's the joy of Halloween night, huh? We're closing shop this year. I live in Bay Hill Springs, and we have, it's like every kid in Boise shows up in that neighborhood usually. But we're gonna turn off the lights this year because I don't know how to safely give out candy. They're showing some people who've built these great big long tubes where you can just throw the candy down a tube, you know, but we just decided this year we're gonna take the safe approach and.
You gotta get some sort of dispensing machine where you just dump the candy.
Well, you know, something, but it, you know, talk about a spreading thing, you know, handing a kid a piece of candy, I mean, you cannot help but have some kind of bacteria transferred there.
They don't need candy anyway.
Huh?
They don't need candy anyway.
You don't need candy anyway, well.
It weakens your immune system.
Say what?
It weakens your immune system.
There you go.
Too much candy.
No such thing as that.
All right, so let's, oh my goodness, time flies when we're having fun, doesn't it? Let's see, I just gotta check, 11, 13. Hang on. Okay, now we've got A. This is an exercise in the key of A major. So we've got A, triad. Okay, thank you. Let's go back with your marker because we've got to fix a couple of accidentals. Okay, so we've got a 1 chord to a 7 diminished 7 in root position back to a 1. Then we've got flat 6, that's good. And we've got minor 4, that's good. And 2 half diminished 7, and then back to 5, and this is the one where we've got to kind of deal with an accidental. We're supposed to have a 7 diminished 7 of 5. So in A major, that is a 7 diminished of E. So we've got to build a diminished 7th chord on D sharp. So we need D sharp, F sharp, A, and C. And you've got an F natural. It's a funky sounding chord. It sounds like a dominant 7, but that's what it needs to be. So you've already got F sharp in the. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Cool.
That's pretty good. Friday people, I know that marker is kind of white on the board. Have you already moved in for a close-up of that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, excellent. So let's do now yes, sir.
I had a question. Do we care about the tritone resolution going to the last measure?
Well, we can,
Okay.
and how would we fix that?
We could just switch some voices around, but I
Yeah,
think
when
that's
when you get that tritone resolving,
Yeah.
you almost have to leave out a chord tone in the final chord.
Okay, cool.
You'd be leaving out the fifth, and she chose to include it. So it's an allowable way to move in voice leading. She chose to have a fully fleshed out final chord. All right, 2B.
That's what I think every time he says it.
F major, and we've got a series of chords to try to do. And we're asked here, let's see. Okay, 5, 4, 3 signals to us what kind of a chord.
Dominant seven.
Yeah, and we don't have the seventh in this chord.
Okay, so this is C.
Why don't you let your C
Yeah.
be a seventh? Well, then we lost the C. So I think maybe what you're gonna have to do is do a little remodeling upstairs. Maybe go up to a B flat, let's see where that leads us. That's gonna lead us to some desire to resolve the tritone differently.
Yeah.
So why don't you come back down? One to 6. Okay, not an ideal doubling, because we got the third of the chord doubled. Let's just do a C in the soprano, shall we? Because this is not parallel fifths, because we're going from diminished fifth to perfect. Now, here, I think I would, if it were my composition here, I would put the E flat in the tenor, right there, final chord. And I'd keep common tones in the upper voices from the prior chord. Now we've kind of cast you in a whole different neighborhood, haven't we here?
Yeah.
So we got to figure this one out. I think I might put the D flat in the tenor. And so that leaves chord tones F, and let's put a B flat in the soprano, why don't we? And we can do the D flat, keep the D flat as a common tone in the tenor. And now, let's keep a B flat in the soprano. And here, yeah, let's put the C in the tenor. And now, yeah, and A flat in the soprano. Now I think we can connect up with your neighborhood. I think this will be workable. A, And we're using G. All right, I think that can work. It's a little bit unusual to have that much distance between alto and soprano. But hey. If we're gonna have the C in the final chord there, you could do this. But then you get a tripled root. Tricky to get that. But I think that's better. So let's listen to that. I'm just a little bit favorable to stepwise motion. But you certainly have capitalized on the concept of contrary motion there. Big time that. So interesting, but so here we go. I'd like to hear people singing this. This is such a disappointment that we can't sing these in trial. But anyway, there we go. So let's look over here finally. We're coming down the home stretch here.
Am I right your way?
Of course.
I'm in the same mode as Leslie. We did like almost the exact same thing, which is interesting. But
You didn't get a
yeah.
seventh in the dominant set. And someone's head is in the way. Let me try that one more time. Very interesting. You would be having an easier time of this if you put the D in, first chord, second measure, if you put the D in the alto.
The alto instead of doubling the F.
No, don't do that. Just put the D in the alto,
Okay.
and then we'll fix the tenor somehow.
And then over here, I forgot to add the flat six above the dominant.
Yeah, so D in the alto there, and then let's put a B flat in the tenor. We'll just put an octave in the tenor. So we go. See, you're going to move in the voice leading more easily to this. And then moving down to this. And I love that because that kind of forms this beautiful little sequence. And then you've got minor 1/6 to a half diminished 2. And we need a, this was specified, it specified a flat. There we go. All right, I think so. Anybody have any comments or questions there? I'm doing my best to see it from here, but it looks like we're okay. And Ellie, you've taken a screenshot of that for our Friday people?
Yep.
Okay, folks, I think that does it for today. Okay? Little bit shorter than usual on the class time, but I think we've covered it. So let's just review together what you're going to concentrate on for next Wednesday. We are big time into the Neapolitan 6 chord, and so we've got both exercises and anthology. So, 27.1 will be, I'm suspecting chord spellings. That chord so spelling Neapolitan, 6 chords in various keys, that's Roman numeral 1. And Roman numeral 2 is a series, A through H, of resolving Neapolitan 6 chords. So again, we're given the Roman numerals and just work through those. And we are going to be in the anthology with, what is that, 5 or 6? 5, 257 to 262, so about 5 examples where we'll be finding Neapolitan 6 chords in context in the excerpt. So everybody work on that. I'll see this group, the Wednesday group, I'll see you face to face with those things. And then for Friday, we will be wrapping up the Neapolitan 6 chord, and it'll be the same thing. We'll be doing exercises, 27.2, Roman numeral 1, and then another 6 anthology examples. So it's a mixture of both things. So please come prepared, and when you come in, both classes, come in and throw stuff up on the board so that we leave ourselves maximum time to operate. And then we're just, I'm gonna be having to finish the semester, and it's a good thing, I haven't had to do this multiple times, because now our schedule is just reviewing for you. You go home for Thanksgiving break, and we do not return face to face. We will be figuring out how to Zoom those sessions. I'll take my computer home and sit at my piano, and I'll just make sure that you have, other words, I'm going to add another page to this schedule of activities, and we will gear it specifically to the nature of the end of the semester. Are we tracking together? What occurs to me, we've just been so busy looking at all of these things. I haven't given anybody an exam in here, have I? You know what, maybe I'm gonna use a Spanish phrase to characterize that. Menos mal. Less bad. I'm not sure I really have to. But before we leave for Thanksgiving break, here's what I need from you so that I have a good sense of who's doing what and how we're progressing in here. But what I need from you is I need to see your gathered together work. I need to be able to look quickly at your anthology to see what you've done with Roman numeral analysis in there, and I need to look at all the worksheets that you have done. So we will figure out a way that I can see that, and we'll agree on a grade for the semester from what I see there and what my sense of your willingness to participate in class. It may be the first time ever that I haven't given an exam, but somehow the way this class is divided up, and to give an exam would have just been, it would have taken away some instructional time, and I honestly, I guess in my heart I just didn't feel like that was a good trade-off here. So, anybody unhappy about that? I'm not going to be called in by the department chair, am I? Because I'm probably not
No
giving
snitches.
not giving an exam,
Guess what Dr. Hansen did?
I am not. I'll tell you,
Not you.
if I had my way in education, I would never give another grade. I would just, everybody could have an A, and I just say, just relax and learn. That's how I really feel things ought to roll out. Now, I'm not sure that I can just blanket do that in here. That's why I've got to see, I've got to put my eyeballs on this work and just make sure that you have traveled the journey with us. But I am not one who believes I should punish anyone for making a mistake on an assignment. I don't believe in that. You all punish yourselves plenty. Someone, did you have a comment?
Yeah, sorry. I will say from personal experience, I learn a lot better, but I don't have the stress of things such as tests.
I feel the same. You know, I was at North Texas, and my major professor in piano, Joe Banowitz, taught a piano lit course one time, and you know what he did? This was a doctoral piano lit course, and he just came in one day, he said, all right, here's how it is. You've all got A's, now quit worrying about your damn grade, and let's just learn. That is my educational philosophy. If I could make that stick all up and down the board, I would. I've done it occasionally with very small graduate courses, which it works. I mean, it's amazing how well that works. But you have to have the right group of people who are not going to just take advantage of that, but who are really going to take advantage of it in the other way, take advantage of it, and I'm going to dig in and learn and not be afraid to make a mistake as I'm learning. I don't know. I'm a dinosaur. But I really liked what Joe Banowitz did at North Texas. I loved the way that felt. So we'll see. I'm going to be thinking about this some more, but I definitely do want to see the collected work, and I may just take 15 minutes, you know, of a class period and just circulate and just make sure. So if you've been slacking off on doing the Roman numerals in the anthology, or you haven't done the workbooks, catch up. Because that to me is the crucial part to your grade, is just to see that you've been trying, to see that you've been on task. Can we all live with that? All right. Have a great week. Get ready for the fun next week. Love Neapolitan 6 chords.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.